This video is one of the best videos we as a company have created so far. The reason is, in order to create the content for this particular video, our mentors team have done a lot of homeworks. So this means we have discussed with a lot of our students who passed the PMP exam recently, and we understood the current trend of the PMP exam, and we have created content for this video. Am I creating a curiosity? Let me not do that. Let me explain you what I'm going to teach as a part of this video. In this video, I'm going to discuss the most important 10 PMP mindsets that any PMP aspirants should have while they are approaching PMP questions. And I'm going to discuss these mindsets with practical examples. So how I'm going to discuss is, I will be teaching you a mindset, and after that I will be practicing a PMP question, and then I will be explaining you how to apply that particular mindset in that PMP question. Trust me, when you are at the end stages of your PMP exam preparation, this video will be a gold for you. So let's not waste any time. Let's get started. Hey guys, my name is Gautham. I am working as head of training department with EduHubSpot. So before I start teaching these 10 PMP mindsets, let me set up the expectations upfront. Please don't assume after learning these mindsets and after practicing some PMP test questions, you can go and pass the PMP exam. No, you can't pass. As I always say in all my videos, if you want to pass this exam, as a first step, you have to set your foundation very strong. This means you have to understand the concepts of PMP, and after that, when you are learning these mindsets and when you are applying these mindsets in the practice questions that you are practicing, and also when you are applying these mindsets in the actual PMP exam, definitely you will pass. So what I want to say here is, it's not about the mindsets. Always make sure your concepts are very strong. With this expectation, let's get started. So let's start with mindset number one. Mindset number one, be proactive, not reactive. This particular mindset is applicable for waterfall, adaptive, and hybrid life cycles. So when you're seeing any questions, respective to waterfall, hybrid, or adaptive life cycles in the PMP exam, while you are approaching PMP questions, you must have this mindset. So what is this mindset? In all three life cycles, when I say in all three life cycles, in waterfall, adaptive, and hybrid, whether the PM taking proactive actions or not will be tested in the PMP exam. So for example, consider you identified a threat. A threat is a future event, right? So it's not that happened yet, but when it happens, it will create a negative impact on your project. In the PMP exam, whether you are proactively addressing the threat or not, that will be tested. So now let's try to understand this mindset one with a PMP question. Let's get started. So this is the question that I'm going to practice. Let's read the question. During the execution phase, your key team members informed you in the following phases there is a high probability the project may deviate from its compliance requirements, which will lead to legal issues. As a project manager, how will you handle this? See, from this question, what threat I'm seeing is, in the following phases, there is a high probability my project may deviate from its compliance requirements. So this is a threat. So this means it's not happened yet. It's going to happen in future. It may happen in future. So now please pick an option with that you are proactively addressing this particular threat. So let's look for that option. Let me read option A. For the next phase, implement a strict monitoring process. Whenever the compliance requirements are deviated, address it. Are you being proactive here? No, you are kind of reactive. You are implementing a process, and after that, what you're doing? Whenever the compliance requirements are deviating, you are addressing it. This is not proactive. You should come up with some actions, and then you have to make sure that the compliance requirements are not deviating. That's proactive. So option A, it's not a good choice for me. It's a more kind of reactive option. I'm not going to pick that. Let me read option B. Schedule a meeting to discuss the situation with the key team members, find the possible deviations in advance, and come up with preventive actions. This is an excellent choice. By doing option B, you are being proactive. So what you're doing, you are collaborating with your team members, and then you're coming up with some preventive actions, and then you're making sure in the future phases compliance requirements are not deviated. Option B is an excellent choice. Considering option B, I am eliminating option A. Let me read option C. Escalate it to the project sponsor. No, these kind of options never pick, because escalation is shying away from your project responsibilities. Let me read the last option, which is D. Meet with the customer and ask them to follow the change control process. Nowhere in the question we are talking about change. Option D is also eliminated. For this question, my pick would be option B. By doing B, I am being very proactive. Now, let's start with mindset number 2. Mindset number 2, create plans. So this particular mindset is applicable for both waterfall and hybrid project. The reason why I'm not bringing adaptive life cycles into the picture is because especially in Agile, we have a value called working software over comprehensive documentation. We normally do just good enough documentation for an Agile project. So that's why I'm not bringing Agile project into the picture. In Agile project, you will create plans, but you won't give that much priority for creating plans. So what feedback we heard from our students was, in the PMP exam, are you giving importance for creating the plans for waterfall and hybrid project is being tested? So let's read it. In the waterfall project, whether the PM is giving priority to creating a plan will be tested in the PMP exam, and that's what I was talking about. In the hybrid project means it's a combination of waterfall and adaptive life cycles. For the predictive side, whether PM is giving priority to creating a plan will be tested in the PMP exam. When a hybrid question is talking about the predictive part, there you are creating a plans or not is being tested in the PMP exam. So now let's try to understand this particular mindset by practicing a couple of PMP questions. Let's get started. Here we go. Mindset 2, create plans. Let's read the question. A large construction project to renovate a shopping complex in a highly populated area has received significant media attention due to its potential impact on the local community. Several stakeholders, including community leaders, local politicians, and environmental groups, have expressed concerns about the project's potential impact. Your project sponsor said engaging the stakeholders is very important to complete the project successfully. During planning, as a project manager, what should be your next step? Okay, what was asked in the question is very simple. I'm working in a large construction project. On my project, my sponsor is saying engaging the stakeholders is very important. If I want to successfully complete my project, I want to engage my stakeholders. So what was asked in the question? During planning, what step I will introduce so that I can engage my stakeholders well? Let me read the options now. Define ground rules for all the stakeholders so that they don't disturb. No, these are very bad choices. Please don't pick these kind of choices. How can you define some ground rules and how can you ask a stakeholder or group of stakeholders not to disturb? No, option A, it's a very bad choice. I'm straight away eliminating. Let me read option B. Show emotional intelligence to stakeholders, and by showing empathy, make the stakeholders supportive. Looks like a good choice for me. You have to make the stakeholders supportive. You have to engage the stakeholders. You can do option B. Let me read option C. Develop a stakeholder engagement plan to engage the stakeholders. This is an excellent choice because from the question, it is very clear you are in the planning. In the planning, you will create stakeholder engagement plan, and there you will write all the engagement strategies, and then you will make the stakeholder supportive. So considering option C, I am eliminating option B. And also by doing option C, what PMP exam is testing you? What this exam is testing you? This exam is testing you, are you giving importance for creating plans? Let me read the last option, which is D. Monitor the stakeholders often and take action when it impacts your project objectives. See, this comes later. This comes in the execution phase. Now you are in the planning phase. From the question, it is very clear. In the planning phase, you should focus creating plans. Option D is also eliminated. For this question, my pick would be option C. So now for this mindset, I'm going to practice one more question, which is focused on hybrid, so that I can teach you how to approach a hybrid question. Have this mindset with you. So when you are approaching a hybrid question, please read the question and understand carefully. This question is talking about adaptive side of the hybrid project or predictive side of the hybrid project. And then you have to take a call accordingly. So let me try this question. You are working as a project manager on a hybrid project. You are in the planning phase. Due to constant changes predicted in the agile side of the project, during integration, the predictive team has to incorporate a lot of changes in the execution phase. As a project manager, what will you do in order to handle the changes effectively in the predictive side? Now ask yourself, this question is talking about predictive side of an hybrid project. So this means you can eliminate all options related to agile. So let's read the option. Option A, discuss with product owner. No, this option I'm not going to pick because this option is talking about agile. Gone. Coach the product owner. This option I'm not going to pick because this option is talking about agile. Eliminated. Develop a change management plan. This is an excellent choice. Why? Because from the question it is very clear, while we are integrating the agile deliverables with the predictive deliverables, in the execution phase, we will get lot of changes. So what was asked in the question? How will you handle the changes effectively in the predictive side? Now, in which phase you are currently in? You are in the planning phase. So in the planning phase, when you are creating a change management plan, so automatically in the execution phase, any changes on the predictive side, we will handle with change control process. So for me, option C is an excellent choice. With that, what mindset you are adhering to? Creating plans. So let me read the last option. Monitor the stakeholders often to identify changes in advance. No, this is also not a good choice. Monitoring will come in execution phase. Now currently you are in the planning phase. For this question, my pick would be option C. So let's start with mindset 3. Mindset 3, follow the plans. This particular mindset is only applicable for waterfall and hybrid projects. I'm not saying in adaptive life cycle, especially in agile, you won't create any plans or you won't follow any plans. The thing is, like, you will create plans, you may follow plans, but you will embrace changes in agile project. That is the reason in the PMP exam, you are following the plans or not in the agile project will not be tested, because in agile, as I always said, or as I said right now, you will embrace change. So this particular mindset is only applicable for waterfall and hybrid questions. So let's get started. As I already mentioned, in the waterfall project, whether PM is giving priority to following the plans will be tested in the PMP exam. In the hybrid project, for the predictive side of the hybrid project, whether PM is giving priority to following the plans will be tested in the PMP exam. Now let's try to understand this particular mindset with a PMP question. Let's get started. Okay, let's do this. Let me read this question. A strategically important project for your company. The stakeholders are located virtually in different countries. A key stakeholder requests confidential project information to be shared with her. Which steps should the project manager take next? So what I understood from this particular question is, a key stakeholder of my project is requesting some confidential project information. So what was asked in the question, as a project manager, what should I do? Let me read the options now. Option A, send the confidential information via email to that key stakeholder. This is a very bad choice because you don't know whether that person can get that information or not. So option A, it's not a good choice. By doing A, you are not following the plans. Let me read option B. Refer to the communication management plan. Guys, this is an excellent choice. When you are referring to the communication management plan, definitely you would have written what are the communication this key stakeholder must get. When this confidential information can be shared to that key stakeholder, you would have mentioned in that plan. By referring to the plan, especially in this case, communication management plan, you will get to know whether you can share this information to that key stakeholder or not. By doing option B, I am following the plans. Means here I am following communication management plan. By considering option B, I am eliminating option A. Let me read option C. As the information is confidential, schedule a meeting with that key stakeholder and share the information. No, don't do it. Always follow the plans. In the plans, if it is written, you can share, you can share. Let me read the last option, which is D. Discuss with the sponsor and decide whether to share this information or not. See, sponsor is someone who is superior in your company. For these kind of things, you cannot go to sponsor. So D is also eliminated. For this question, my pick would be option B. Most importantly, by doing B, I am following the plan. Good. I hope you guys are enjoying the mindset series. So let's get started with mindset number 4. Mindset number 4, stick to process. This particular mindset is applicable for waterfall, agile and hybrid. So when I say agile, I would say it is for the adaptive life cycles as well. When I say adaptive, iterative, incremental and agile. So let's read it. For all three life cycles, processes are defined. Whether the PM stick to the process or not will be tested in the PMP exam. So this means for waterfall life cycle, for adaptive life cycle and hybrid life cycles, processes are clearly defined. This PMP exam will definitely test as a project manager, you are following those processes. So now let's try to practice a PMP question. Now let's do an agile question. Let's try to understand this particular mindset. Let me read this question. A resistant stakeholder directly reached out to the agile team's work area, providing and asking the team to do some urgent work. The team accepts the work and they completed those work. The product owner becomes upset when he got to know that the team worked on the requested features. As a project manager, what will you do? So what I understood from this particular question, a resistant stakeholder is directly reaching out to agile team. And that particular person is asking agile team to do some urgent work. So what the team is doing, the team accepting the work and they have completed the work. Product owner got to know about this and that person got disappointed. So what was asked in the question, as a project manager, what will you do? Let me read the options now. Make sure the key stakeholders document all the changes as a change request and follow the change control process. I am eliminating this option straight away. Because this question is an agile question, no change control process. Change control process is only for predictive project. Let me read option B. Update the stakeholder engagement plan with the engagement strategy to make the resistant stakeholders supportive. See, if this question is a predictive question, I will be definitely opting for this particular option. But this is an agile question. In agile, you won't be creating stakeholder engagement plan and communication management plan and all. So option B, it's not a good choice for me. I'm not going to eliminate, but it's not a good choice. Let me read option C. Collaborate with the product owner and the key stakeholder together and facilitate them to agree on a workflow. This is an excellent choice. Why? Any stakeholder has to give some work to the team. That work has to go back to the product backlog. Who owns the product backlog? Product owner. This means any stakeholders wants to give work to an agile team. Stakeholders are not allowed to reach directly to the team. Stakeholders must reach to product owner and product owner has to take a decision either to accept the work or to reject the work. By doing option C, you are collaborating with the product owner and that key stakeholder and you are making a kind of a workflow. This means moving forward how these key stakeholders will give work to directly the product owner. By doing option C, you are following the process. You are sticking to a process because in Agile, anyone who wants to give work has to reach out to product owner. That's the process. Yeah. Option C is an excellent choice. Considering option C, option B is eliminated. Let me read the last option, which is D. Invite the key stakeholder to the product backlog grooming sessions moving forward. You don't want to do this. product owner will take care of it. So for this question, by doing option C, I am sticking to the process and my pick would be option C. Let's start with mindset number 5. Mindset number 5, solution. This particular mindset is applicable for all three life cycles: waterfall, agile and hybrid. Let me delete agile and I always like to put adaptive. Yeah, good. So what is this mindset is about? In all three life cycles, when any problem occurs, whether the PM always gives solution to the problem or not will be tested in the PMP exam. So in the form of a PMP question, normally in PMP question, they used to give a problem and they will be giving you 4 options. This exam will test you as a PM whether you are selecting the option that gives solution to the problem what you have in the question or not will be tested. So let's practice a question and let's try to understand this particular mindset. Some agile approaches have recently been added to an infrastructure company's predictive processes. The team is not completing the planned story points and they are becoming passive due to a lack of skills. The project manager is concerned and wants to improve productivity. What should the project manager do? From the question, what problem I have? The team is not completing the planned story points. What is the root cause of the problem? Due to lack of skills, the team is not completing the planned story points. Now I have to select an option. With that, I have to address this lack of skills root cause so that this problem will be fixed. Let me read the options now. Option A, provide team training so the team can do a better job of estimating story points. This is an excellent choice. What is the problem we have in the question? Team is not completing the planned story points. What was the root cause for that? Team members are lacking skills. What you're doing in option A, you're giving training and then you are improving their skills. With that, they can do a better job of estimating story points. By doing option A, you are giving solution to the problem what you have in the question. A is an excellent choice. Let me read option B. Update the stakeholder engagement plan with the engagement strategy to make the resistant stakeholders supportive. Nowhere in the question we are talking about resistant stakeholders. This particular option is completely irrelevant. It's not giving solution to the problem what you have in the question. So B is also eliminated. For me, A stands best. Let me read option C. Gain the needed time for story point completion by adding more iteration. No, strict no. What you're doing? By doing option C, you're kind of accepting a problem. This means you are gaining more time. Then why you are there in the project as a project manager? A project can run in an autopilot mode, right? And also in Agile, you're not allowed to add more iterations because time is fixed. C is eliminated. Use burn down charts to evaluate team performance. You don't want to do it. Team performance is already bad. It's clearly mentioned in the question. D is also eliminated. My pick would be option A for this particular question. By doing A, you are giving solution to the problem what you have in the question. So let's keep the momentum going. Let's move on to mindset number 6. Mindset 6, find the root cause. See, this particular mindset is applicable for all three life cycles: waterfall, adaptive and hybrid. Yeah, because in all three life cycles, you can have a problem. When you have a problem, you must find a root cause. Yeah, let's read it. In all three life cycles, when any problem occurs, whether the PM always finds causes and gives solution to the problem or not will be tested in the PMP exam. You have a problem. It's not like only giving solution. You have to find the root cause of the problem. You have to come up with a solution. With that, you must address the cause. Only then the problem will be permanently fixed. Otherwise, that problem will be repeating. In the PMP exam, whether you are really finding the root cause or not, that will be tested. Let's practice a question. Okay, here we go. I'm going to read this question. A project team that is working on a software project collected a series of data from historical information to help develop the project management plan. The team is now working on deliverables for the project. When the compliance manager discovers a deviation in the compliance requirement, after verifying the test results, and this deviation is because of lack of documentation process. As a project manager, what should be your first step? As I already said, for any problem, you have to find the root cause and then select an option. With that, you have to address the cause. From this particular question, what problem we have? Deviation in the compliance requirement. That's a problem. What is the root cause of this particular problem? Lack of documentation process. Now, from the 4 options you have to select an option. With that, you must address the cause, which is lack of documentation process. Let's look for that option. Let me read option A. Provide team training so that team won't miss any compliance requirements in the future. Ask yourself, what is the cause of deviation of the compliance requirement? Lack of documentation process. How team training will address this particular cause? Definitely not. Nowhere in the question it is stated this deviation is because lack of skills. If that is the case, I would have went with option A. Option A, it's not a good choice for me. Let me read option B. Work with team members and define a smooth process for documentation. This is an excellent choice because for this problem, deviation of compliance requirement, the root cause is lack of documentation process. By doing option B, I'm defining a smooth documentation process. With that, I'm addressing the cause. So considering option B, I'm eliminating option A. Let me read option C. Gain the needed time to complete the documentation process. This is a brutal acceptance of a problem. Don't pick these kind of options. Gain the needed time. No. Last option D. Escalate this issue to the project sponsor. When you're doing option D, you're shying away from your project responsibilities. It's your project problem. You have to solve it. For this question, my pick could be option B. By doing B, I'm making sure I'm finding the root cause and then I'm giving solution that addresses the cause. Now let's start with mindset number 7, which is collaboration. This particular mindset, again, it's applicable for all 3 life cycles: waterfall, adaptive, and hybrid. So what does this mindset mean? In all 3 life cycles, when any problem occurs, whether the project manager always finds the solution by collaborating with the team or not, will be tested in the PMP exam. See, problem can happen in any life cycles, irrespective of waterfall, adaptive, or hybrid. See, in the PMP exam, for making any decisions or for solving any problems, whether you're involving the team, whether you're collaborating with the team and then you're making decisions or you're solving the problem or not, will be tested. Now let's practice a PMP question and let's try to understand this particular mindset. So let's move on. This is the same question that I practiced, while I was explaining mindset number 6, which is find the root cause. But I have changed the options a little bit so that I can explain this collaboration mindset very well. So let me read the question again. A project team that is working on a software project collected a series of data from historical information to help develop the project management plan. The team is now working on deliverables for the project when the compliance manager discovers a deviation in the compliance requirements. So what is the problem here? Deviation in the compliance requirements. After verifying the test results, and this deviation is because a lack of documentation process. So what is the root cause of this particular problem? Lack of documentation process. As I said, the same question which I practiced for the previous mindset. So now let me read the options now. So what was asked in the question? As a project manager, what should be your first step? Let me read the options. Option A. Understand the pros and cons of the current documentation process and define the tailored documentation that is best fit for the project. Excellent choice. Because the root cause is lack of documentation process, by doing option A, you are coming up with a tailored documentation process that best fits for your project. Excellent choice. Let me read option B. Work with team members and define a smooth process for documentation. This is also an excellent choice. By defining a smooth process for documentation, I am addressing the cause, which is lack of documentation. Now, A option is also good. B option is also good. Now, I have to select the best option. My pick would be option B. Because by doing option B, I am collaborating with my team members and then I am giving solution. For this PMP exam, whichever option you are collaborating, that particular option should always get priority. So considering option B, I am eliminating option A. Option C, gain the needed time to complete the documentation process. Very bad choice. Why it is bad? While I was explaining this question last time itself, I have explained. Escalate this issue to the project sponsor. It is shying away from your project responsibilities. Don't do it. So for this question, my pick would be option B, because by doing B, I am involving my team members. I'm collaborating with my team members. So we are nearing to the end of the video. So we are discussing 8th mindset. Still we have 2 more after this. So stay with me, please. So mindset number 8, empowering team. Very important mindset. So this is a great servant leadership quality. So this particular mindset is applicable for agile and hybrid life cycles. I always like to remove agile. This particular life cycle is applicable for adaptive and hybrid life cycles. Why not predictive? Because in predictive, you as a project manager does everything. You do planning, you do monitoring and controlling. So that's why this particular mindset is not applicable for predictive project. It's only applicable for adaptive and hybrid life cycles. So let's read it. In the agile project, in the adaptive project, whether the project manager is empowering the team members or not will be tested in the PMP exam. This means you are giving your authority, you are making the team self-organizing or not will be tested in the PMP exam. And also in the hybrid project, for the agile side of the hybrid project, means for the adaptive side of the hybrid project, whether PM is empowering the team members or not will be tested in the PMP exam. Now, let's try to understand this particular mindset with a PMP question. Here we go. An agile project is in the execution phase. By reviewing the progress report, the project manager identified that the release schedule could not be met. The PM was shocked because the PM purposefully selected all the work in the sprint to meet the project objectives. How this problem can be avoided in the future. So what I understood from this particular question is, I'm working on an agile project. I'm currently in the execution phase. Project manager is reviewing the progress report. By seeing the progress report, project manager identified release schedule could not be met. PM was shocked because of this, and because why PM was shocked? PM purposefully selected all the work by himself or herself to meet the project objectives. So what was asked in the question, how these kind of problems will be prevented in the future? Let me read the options. Option A, self-organize the agile team members so that they will take ownership of the project. This is an excellent choice. As I already mentioned, in agile project, you as a project manager should empower the team. This means in sprint planning meeting, development team members decides how many user stories they can implement in that particular sprint. Kindly read the question. What's happened here? PM purposefully selected all the work in the sprint. PM should not do it. PM should self-organize the team. By doing option A, you are empowering your team members. What is the advantage of empowering? Team members will take ownership. By doing option A, you are empowering. You are being a servant leader. A is an excellent choice for me. Let me read option B. Discuss with the team and understand the skills and competencies gaps and provide training. Nowhere in the question, it is mentioned this problem is because of lack of skills and competencies. If you personally ask me, project manager is the person who needs training here. Because project manager is not making the team self-organizing. Project manager is selecting the work by himself or herself. Yeah. So option B is eliminated. Option C, escalated to the project sponsor, shying away from your project responsibilities. Don't do it. Option D, meet with the product owner to discuss the possible solutions and change the release schedule. See, now you have a problem. You're changing the release schedule. You're kind of accepting the problem. Then why you are there on the project? A project can run in an autopilot mode, right? Always go for solution. Give solution. Yeah. Option D is also eliminated. For this question, my pick would be option A. By doing A, I am empowering my team. So we almost came to the end of the video. Now I'm going to discuss the last 2 mindsets, which is mindset number 9 and 10 in one single slide. So let's get started. Mindset 9, no extreme steps. Mindset 10, no shying away from responsibilities. This particular mindset is applicable for waterfall, adaptive, and also hybrid life cycles. So what is this mindset is about? In all three life cycles, in all the three life cycles, whether PM is not taking extreme steps and whether PM is not shying away from PM's responsibilities or not will be tested in the actual PMP exam. So this means, you should never take an extreme steps. And when you have a problem, you have to give solution. You should not shy away from your responsibilities. So these two things will be tested in the actual PMP exam. So let's try to understand these two mindsets with a PMP question. So let's get started. Okay, let's do this question. During the execution phase, a project team member has not been at work for the past week. A lot of critical path activities are behind schedule. As a project manager, how will you handle this situation? So what I understood from this particular question is, I'm in the execution phase. A project team member has not been at work for the past week. Because of this, a lot of critical path activities are behind schedule. So what was asked in the question? How will I handle this situation? Let me read option A. Obtain a new resource to complete the pending work. This looks like a good choice because one person is not there at work for the past week. So you can get a new resource. Very good choice. Let me read option B. Schedule a meeting to discuss the situation with the team members and find a solution. This is a very good choice because by doing option B, you are collaborating. As I already mentioned, A is also a good choice. B is also a good choice, but always give priority to the option with that you are collaborating. So by doing option B, you are collaborating with the team members and you're trying to find a solution. So considering option B, I'm eliminating option A. Let me read option C. Escalated to the project sponsor. Never pick this option. So whenever you guys are seeing escalated to the project sponsor, escalated to the project manager, not project manager, functional manager, these kind of options never go for. Because when you're doing this, you are shying away from your project responsibilities. This is your project problem. When there is a problem, you have to handle, not sponsor. By escalating, you're kind of asking for help. Don't pick this option. Let me read option D. Meet with the functional manager to discuss the possible solutions and communicate with the absent team member. See, by communicating with the absent team member, what you're going to do? So you're not going to do anything. So option D is also eliminated. For this question, my pick would be option B. So this particular mindset, which is, let me go back. This particular mindset, no extreme steps, no shying away from responsibilities. These mindsets will not help you to select the right answer. These mindsets will help you to eliminate the wrong choice. See, by escalating to the project sponsor, I'm kind of shying away from my responsibilities, right? So this mindset is helping me to eliminate that wrong choice. So with this, we completed our last two mindsets that we supposed to discuss. So thank you so much for staying with me a little long time. I know this video is a pretty long video, but I hope that I made every minute you guys spent is worth. Thank you so much for staying with me, and most importantly, sorry for being repetitive. It's not about the mindset. Mindset will help you to pass the PMP exam, but always make sure that your concepts are very strong. Only then you can pass the PMP exam. If you guys have liked this video, please smash the like button, and in the comment section, do share your feedback. And also please let me know in the comment section, what should be the next PMP content I should create. So definitely I will be considering that while I'm creating my next video. Again, please subscribe to our EduHubSpot channel because moving forward, I will be coming up with a lot of content related videos. When you are subscribing to our channel, you will get a notification. So this will definitely add value in your PMP exam preparation. And if you have any queries related to PMP, don't hesitate to write me an email. My email ID is gautham.sutakar@eduhubspot.com that you will be seeing on the screen. I will be also giving my LinkedIn ID in the description of this particular video. Please be kind enough in sending the connection request, and let's stay connected and let's help our community. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will be soon meeting you all in another great video. Until then, bye. Take care.